I say investments, and I want to make sure to call that out because really, as the CFO, the CEO, you're looking at your business, your investments as a portfolio. You're investing dollars in marketing, you're investing dollars in sales, you're investing dollars all across your go-to-market, and you want to make sure that you're getting the proper return from it. So for me as a sales leader, I want to know what those investments are and what's the ideal return so that I can run a smart unit within my business that's going to lead the company to be sustainable and reach the long-term goals to have long-term success. The other part of a modern tech stack is, or a modern sales organization, part of the tech stack could be automation. So a lot of companies are using AI, whether it's AI outreach, email outreach, things like that. But finding ways to automate and streamline processes that can help you work more efficiently or bring more people to you that are raising their hands, or finding ways to automate different workflows and find different signals that can trigger that someone may be interested, and you kick an email out and things like that. So it's different depending on what your sale is and what your process and what your strategy is. But automation is another big part of finding ways to just work more efficiently and being modern and first class and forward thinking with your sales strategy. So in your strategy, you need to make sure there's alignment across your sales and marketing team. And there's tons of talk about this all on LinkedIn, and a lot of people talk about it all the time. But like really having alignment and um, organization and um, consideration of making sure that doing everything on the same page, that you all understand each other's challenges, understand where you can help and support each other, but really making sure that as you build out the go-to-market strategy, you're looking at things from both the marketing lens and the sales lens. It's not just it's only the salespeople now that go out and create all the sales. Like it takes sales and marketing to create a lead. It takes sales and marketing to get someone to the point where they're ready and interested, looking to purchase or potentially buy something from you. So those need to go hand in hand and go in lockstep, and really thinking through what is your overall go-to-market strategy that combines both of those elements, and being thoughtful with that approach. Not targeting leads just to get as much volume as possible, or having your sales team just call as many people as possible and playing the numbers game and hoping that that leads to eventually sales. You want to be smarter with that. You want to think through that and really only have them in a position where it makes sense. So have them talk to people that are interested the best you can. If you're not getting enough inbound demand to support that, then be strategic about the outbound efforts that you're doing and how you're going to go about doing that. What's the messaging that you're going to have when you go out to people? If they're not interested, but you're pitching a product, it's not going to resonate. But if you could speak to them, that you understand their challenges, you understand what their responsibilities are in their role, and you can relate and be personalized and thoughtful with your outreach, like that is a big part of the sales and marketing messaging that the best organizations now are going out with, because they know that's what's actually going to get responses. When I do training, I have people go through the exercise of putting themselves in the shoes of a business person and really thinking through, like, would you respond back to this email? Would you take that call that you got or that LinkedIn message you received? Would you respond back and actually have a meeting with that person? Business people are busy. So we want to make sure that if we're going to take the time and hope that they come back and meet with us, we're going to provide value on every touch point. Everything that you do, whether it's an email, whether it's a video message, it's a phone call, you're providing value. There's a reason for your call other than I want to sell you a product. You see a need, you work with people like them, they face these challenges and you can help them overcome that. Like any business leader is looking for ways that they can solve problems. And if you can help solve problems instead of trying to just sell them stuff, you're gonna have a lot more success in your efforts. So really thinking through that, and then designing and finding ways to collect data where you can track signals. Whether it's people visiting your website, it's certain actions people take, so that you can put that into a scoring system or a model or some sort of process where now when you have your salespeople reaching out, there's a reason. It's not only because you have the right message, it's also the right time to be reaching out. You could have the right message, but if you reach out at the wrong time, it doesn't matter. You could have a decent message or a mediocre message, but if it's the right time, you may get a meeting with that person. So looking at triggers, looking at the data in the past, like, all right, what has brought people to us, or what are actions that happen before they actually purchase? Then could you find ways to target and identify that in the future, so that when you have your salespeople reaching out or talking to people, it's people that it's worth their time and they can be very thoughtful and personalized and customized with their outreach. And then also building out, customized buying journeys. So really thinking through what is the process that we want to put people through. If they're not really that educated in the process, we want to, really go through a deeper dive with them. But if they're ready to purchase on their own, many companies are having products where they could just purchase and buy on their own on the B2B space. So almost e-commerce for B2B, where you can upsell that person on the back end, or if they don't want to talk to a salesperson, they don't have to. We don't have to create all this extra friction in the sales process. We can take a step back and understand that people buy and consume information differently now. So we really want to think through that. Where I'll wrap up is more on like the people side of it. We talk a lot of process, techniques, strategies, but it really comes down to your people. So building a culture where people feel bought into, they feel invested in, and they feel that they're heard. So you're giving them opportunities to take on more. You're creating clearly defined paths for their growth. And they know when they step into a role, here's all the opportunities for me to grow within the organization so that they can get comfortable, they can commit, assuming that they're meeting their expectations and exceeding, and there's opportunities for growth. It'll be really difficult for those people to leave because they see the opportunities. And where I think a lot of organizations are starting to get it right is understanding that maybe they can have less staff, but pay them appropriately. A lot of it comes down to money. That wasn't always my biggest driver and motivator, but in sales, that is the big motivator for a lot of people. So you need to pay your best people accordingly. So looking at what the market value is, if you're losing people because of pay, you need to evaluate and like, does our economics allow us to compensate more? Or if not, we just have to be comfortable knowing that we're going to turn people over on a regular basis, but it's probably not the best process in the future. So really being thoughtful about that, understanding how you can keep and retain your best people, and if it's pay or if it's opportunities for growth or responsibilities, like really being open and transparent about that and allowing people to voice what their motivations are because they want to be heard. They want to feel that they're invested in. So when it comes to a culture standpoint, it's not just having contests and going on outings and going to happy hours and things like that, but like really building a culture that's built for the people that you serve, for those people that work for you, that you oversee, and that they know that you care about them as a person, but also some of the needs and wants that they have. You're building out structures and processes and plans that they can achieve those and get that as well. Training. I think, obviously, selfishly for me, I see a lot of value in training, but not enough organizations do it, especially in sales. They do it maybe, once a year or a couple times a year. They bring in somebody, get everyone pumped up. But where we really look to partner is like building out a strategy and a program that's going to be sustainable past the 2 to 3 days that we're on site, like making sure that there's regular check-ins, there's dialogue back and forth between the leaders and the staff and us as consultants, and really seeing, all right, here's where we want to be 6 months from now. How can we map out a process and a plan over the next 4 to 6 months to get us there and build sustainable processes so that you don't necessarily need us forever. If you want to, I'd love to stay and continue to work with the same client. But at some point, you probably get them to a point where they can now take care of that themselves and you find other clients. But as it relates to training, like investing in that, building that out, making sure that you're pouring into people on a continual basis, not just mid-year, end of year, or say that you do training, but like really investing. And for me, selfishly on the sales side, that's what I'm talking about. Doing regular training, so bringing in outside consultants, doing in-house training, empowering your top salespeople or top people on the floor to lead trainings and trade that next generation that's coming up from behind them on different objections that they're handling or different ways that they go about their sales process. That's a great way to create a pipeline for future leadership. And also going back to the retention piece, help retain some of your top people because they feel that there's more that they're doing in their job than just selling every day. They're giving back and they're growing their skill set as future leaders. So that's a big piece of it. And then also putting them in the right position to succeed. There's not many proactive outbound B2C sales roles anymore. Everyone needs to know business. Everyone needs to know how companies make money, how your company makes money, how your clients make money, and be able to speak about that in a knowledgeable, consultative way. I've touched on it before. ChatGPT is a great way to get up to speed if you're a newer seller, to start to understand that and start to increase your business acumen. Um, but knowing that on the new sales side, I think a big opportunity too is on the customer retention side. So customer success, not just calling it customer service where you're reactive, waiting for things to come to you, but being proactive, targeting people, being a true consultant to their business if they're buying for business purposes, and understanding how you can help them with that. A lot of times you looked at the customer service role or that customer success role as like someone who's nice, that's friendly, but isn't really a seller, isn't a killer or a hunter, like we like to call it. But you need people in that role that have a sales background, a sales mindset, a consultative mindset, and can speak business and help people achieve their business goals and outcomes. That's way more value than having someone that's pushy and persuasive. If I'm a client of somebody's, I want someone who's going to help and understand my business and care about my business just as much as I do, because I'm paying you to help me achieve these goals and outcomes. So that's a big part of it as well, in training your team and building your team to understand business and how that works and speak knowledgeably and intelligently about this. So those are some of the tips. Those are some of the things I see. It's just my opinion, but where I see the best modern sales organizations starting to evolve for what the future is going to be. And every week, every month, things are changing as there's new technologies, as there's new automations, there's new types of buyers coming into the market and the ways that they consume information. But it really boils down to knowing your data, knowing your customers, providing a message and a service that's going to support them and help them. And then at the executive level, understanding that and getting buy-in across the entire strategy processes that you're doing, and they're involved, they're engaged with it. It's not these siloed departments who are all operating and doing their own thing, but you're working together as a group, as a cohesive unit, and understand that everything that each person is doing needs to funnel up to the top to reach the long-term business objectives, and also have the proper economics to be profitable long term, so you sustain as a business. And it's your responsibility as a department leader to understand what those metrics are and what you should be achieving to get those results. So hopefully you enjoy this. Let me know if you have any feedback, but I'll be back again next week with another video. Thanks.